Jackson Ole Sapit, currently being consecrated as the head of the Anglican Church in Kenya. A suspected robber shot dead in Meru, and a pistol and several rounds of ammunition recovered. At least 82 people killed and 200 injured in multiple blasts in Baghdad, Iraq. Good afternoon. It is Sunday, the 3rd day of July 2016. Glad that you're watching KTN News. This is Weekend at 1 with me, Sharon Momanyi. Welcome to the program. Now, Jackson Ole Sapit is currently being consecrated as the head of the Anglican Church in Kenya. Ole Sapit was elected in May and takes over from outgoing Archbishop Eliud Wabukala, who has served the church for over 7 years. The consecration ceremony is taking place at the All Saints Cathedral. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta is among dignitaries attending this consecration ceremony. Ole Sapit was, until his election, the bishop for Kericho Diocese. He emerged winner among 6 contestants who had shown interest in serving the church at the helm. Our reporter Murimi Mwangi now joins us by way of phone from the All Saints Cathedral. Murimi, perhaps who are among the other dignitaries present at the ceremony, and what are some of the highlights from your end?
Good afternoon, Sharon. Notable faces that are in attendance here include that of long-serving minister in the KANU regime, William Ole Ntimama, as well as former or the presidential aspirant in Tanzania's recent elections, Edward Lowassa, and of course quite a number of serving ministers or cabinet secretaries in the current regime, notably Interior CS Joseph Nkaiseri, as well as Deputy President William Ruto. It is quite a critical function for the ACK Church, as now Jackson Ole Sapit becomes the country's 6th Archbishop, and possibly also the 4th Bishop of the All Saints Cathedral Diocese here in Nairobi. Again, remember, he has served in previous capacity as the Bishop of the Kericho Diocese and has quite a long-running experience in community affairs. And a part of his campaign manifesto, if you remember, there were 6 contestants that were eyeing the position earlier this year, was that of uniting the ACK Church as well as the church in general and the country. And he argued that his election being one from a small community, he has served, in Narok, and comes from the Maasai, which is not quite a big community of the congregation of the ACK. He argued that his election would perhaps be, the greatest evidence that the ACK Church can stand out beyond what has been argued as the tribal cocoons and stand to unite the church. So quite a critical task for him to unite the ACK Church as well as the church in general and the country. And the consecration ceremony is still ongoing here, quite a colorful ceremony attended by thousands of faithful from the ACK, notably from the Kericho Diocese, as well as quite a good representation from Narok and the larger Maasai land. Quite a colorful ceremony, notable from the colors of the dress code, the traditional attires that have been worn by quite a number of those in attendance here, as well as the religious part of it, which is quite symbolic of the history of the ACK Church, as well as the mantle that he now takes over as the country's new Archbishop of the ACK Church of Kenya, Sharon.
Right, Burumi. And at which point of the ceremony are we at now? Have we had the new Archbishop perhaps giving his address and stating what are some of his aspirations at the helm of the church?
Now, a few minutes ago, when I stepped out of church, he had just been consecrated as the new Archbishop of the ACK Church. The ceremony was still ongoing, but he is expected to address the congregation now as the new Archbishop anytime from now. And remember, that will be quite critical because the nation is watching, aside from the ACK Church. the country is voting to hear what he has to offer. Remember, we are only 13 months to the 2017 general election, and therefore he has quite a task, one of uniting the church, in advocating for good politics that does not spill into divisions and the, ethnic balkanization that has been witnessed in the past elections in the country. So quite any time from now, Sharon, we could be getting that address from the new Archbishop of the ACK Church of Kenya.
All right. Thank you very much, Murimi Mwangi, there following that consecration ceremony taking place at the All Saints Cathedral, where Jackson Ole Sapit is being consecrated as the new Archbishop of the Anglican Church. Moving on, and 6 leaders from Mount Kenya region are accusing the opposition coalition court of attempting to introduce a fresh agenda to change the election date. The leaders, who included Senate Majority Leader Kindiki Kithure, accused the opposition of seeking to sabotage talks on IEBC. The leaders, who were speaking during a fundraiser at Kennel, insisted that the elections would be held in August and not any other date.
Ile maneno ya IBC tuzingatie kabisa, tunajua iko shida kwa sababu huyu mtu wetu hataki uchaguzi. Hapo mnataka nimeona namna gani? Sasa critical commission ilisema kwa kamati information ili prepare election ya ambayo iko na nini na hadi nzuri. Ni hapo prepare for 24 months. Sasa kwa nini hii maneno hakulete after election? Sasa kutoka hapa 24 months nini? Kama hao commission watakuwa na nini? Watasimamia hiyo election nzuri. 24 months nini? Huyu mtu wewe anataka uchaguzi?
The discussions around IEBC must be expedited so that we have a peaceful and credible election. Because we believe, as we believe, the elections must take place as scheduled in the Constitution on 8th of August 2017. We do not want to delay. Na tuko tayari. Hata wakisema ni kesho, sisi tuko tayari. Ile wote tunaojua naye siku ile, ndio ile wote tutaojua naye.
IEBC removal must follow the law, must also be done within the Constitution. And when we talk of IEBC removal, we talk about the commissioners. If and when we find that any of the commissioners, or all of them jointly and severally, may have committed incompetencies and violations of the Constitution, then at that time, through the Constitution and through the relevant joint committee of the House, or through the select committee that was appointed by the two initiatives, that the CORD and the Jubilee, after of course a lot of push and shove, we will still finally come to the floor of the House and debate whatever recommendations that either of the committees come up with.
Now, CORD leaders are today expected in Machakos to attend the homecoming ceremony of Machakos Senator Johnston Muthama. The senator was among the Pangani 6 MPs who were arrested over hate speech remarks. CORD principals Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka and Moses Wetangula are expected to attend. Right, and we want to talk to our reporter Jeff Kirui, who is in Machakos. And Jeff, are any of the leaders there? What can we expect from that end?
Well, very good afternoon, Sharon. We are at Mulu Mutisha Gardens in Machakos County, and the CORD principals and CORD members of Parliament are expected to be here at around 2. Remember, this is the 4th homecoming ceremony for the members of CORD who are among the Pangani 6. And from our sources within the CORD coalition intimated earlier that the leaders are currently having a meeting at Manzoni, where they're expected to talk on top of the agendas the party issues, housekeeping rules. Remember, there have been issues within the ODM party regarding some of the perceived members, some of the members are perceived to be having a rebellion within the party, including, of course, Dr. Paulo Tuma and Babu Namwamba. And top of the agenda also is the issue about the presidential candidate in the next general election. This was intimated that they are trying to discuss to find out to Kakadilo who will be the flag bearer for the Quad Coalition members. Some few members of the Wiper party have also been trying to put their point forward, saying that there was an agreement that a Wiper party should be the main flag bearer, the member, or rather, a member of the main guy to carry the flag for the Quad Coalition should come from the Wiper party. Well, Sharon, we're expecting these leaders to make their way here at around to Sharon. Back to you.
Very much, Kiri. We shall sure keep tabs with you to find out how this continues there from Machakos. Now let's move on now, and the opposition coalition Accord has suffered another setback after its nominated member Isaac Mwaura announced that he would be ditching the opposition for the ruling Jubilee. Mwaura says he will be vying for Ruiru parliamentary seat in next year's elections on a Jubilee ticket. Mwaura was nominated by ODM to represent people living with disabilities. The MP announced this in the company of Kabete legislator Ferdinand Waititu.
Sisi tunaambia Babu na Mwamba, pia wewe toka kwa hiyo chama ambaye haiwezi faulu kupata serikali. Kuja pande hii yetu ya Jubilee, sisi ndio tuko na serikali, na bado 2017 ndio sisi tutakuwa na serikali. Wewe kuja ushikamane na rais wetu, twende njia moja.
Siasa ya kitaifa ipigwe kulingana na misingi ya sera. Sio mambo tu ya mtu asimame hapo aseme, wewe Mwaura usiongee na nani, wewe Mwaura ulionekana juzi na nani. La hasha. Sisi kama wanasiasa, kipenga kimepulizwa, ni wakati wa kutafuta kura, na kila mtu ana kura, kila mtu anaweza kupigia yule mwingine kura.
Police in Meru have shot dead a suspected robber who has allegedly been terrorizing locals. A pistol and 5 rounds of ammunition were recovered from the slain suspect. According to Imenti North DCIO Ngai Wekesa, the suspect was shot dead as he and 3 other gangsters were preparing to rob a shop at Gitimbine near Meru town. The police say the deceased was a well-known criminal who has participated in various robberies in the town.
Mimi najua tulikuwa huku ndani, tulikuwa na customer. Wakati tulisikia hiyo milio, najua hatukuwa tunajua ni nini, tukaanza kufunga milango, tukasikia ni kama mabati. Customer mmoja akaingia akaniambia ni risasi, lakini hao watu wako na nguo za raia. Tukafunga. Tukasikia risasi ni kama risasi zilipigwa kama mara ngapi, mara 10 hivi. Kuenda kuangalia. Wakati tulitoka nje tukaona watu ni wengi na kuna magari ya polisi. Ndio tukakuta mtu amelala hapo.
CID starts acting on information, intercepted the robbers. 2 of them ran away after they opened the fire, and the one was fatally wounded. The public members at the scene immediately identified him and claimed that he was involved in a spate of robberies that where even innocent business people lost their life.
Now tension is building up between residents living at the border between Kenya and Tanzania in Kajiado South over increased cases of motorcycle thefts. Kajiado South residents living in the area held a protest march from Kenya to Tanzania to protest rampant incidents where the motorcycles are stolen and taken to Tanzania. During the protest, 3 motorcycles believed to have been stolen were recovered in Tanzania. According to the residents, more than 15 motorcycles have been stolen this year.
Kufika saa hii kwa kweli tumeibiwa sana. Pikipiki ikiibiwa ikiingia Tanzania huwa hatuipati. Ikishaingia inabandikwa na namba plate ya Tanzania ambayo ni ya Kenya. Kama jana kuna kijana amenyang'anywa pikipiki saa 6 mchana. Ikaenda Tanzania imepotea kabisa. Kwa sasa tulikuwa doria tukaungana wana bodaboda wote. Tumeingia Tanzania tumepata pikipiki moja ambayo ni ya Kenya lakini namba plate ya Tanzania. tukasema tuipeleke kituo cha polisi, kama na wrong book ataifuatilia, lakini tunajua ni ya wizi kwa sababu hamna pikipiki ya Tanzania ambayo ina namba plate ya Kenya na hamna ya Kenya ambayo ina namba plate ya wapi ya Tanzania. Kwa hivyo ni wizi, tunataka kukomeza wizi upande wa Ruitoktok.
Kama kuna wizi yoyote tufuate ile sheria, tufuate protocol ili tuziweze kuleta shida katikati ya watu wetu. Kwa hivyo kuna motorcycle 3 ambayo iko police station ya Ilasit, na polisi wanaendelea na investigation yao na uchunguzi yao, na tukibaini ya kwamba ni ya wizi tutachukua ile hatua ambayo inatakikana, na tukijua kwamba ni ya Watanzania kwa sababu kuna Watanzania wamekuja kuangalia, basi itarudishiwa kwa wale ambao ni owners ya hiyo motorcycles.
Now, Nyeri Town witnessed a spectacle on Saturday when it hosted a convoy of Mini Coopers. The eye-catching vehicles on their way to Isiolo for a charity event brought the town to a standstill with their size and their colorful nature. Mini Lovers in Kenya, a group consisting of local car enthusiasts of classic Mini Coopers, were on a stopover in Nyeri while on their way to Isiolo, where they were scheduled to visit Rehema Children's Home. A curious crowd of onlookers gathered to see and take photos of the mini cars. The car enthusiasts drive across the country holding events benefiting orphaned children.
The main reason for having this event is to support needy kids, needy children. Today we are going to Isiolo to support our children's home in Isiolo. More to that, we also trying to make this county, our town Nyeri, vibrant.
We do what we call charity events for kids. We've done many. We did one last year in Huruma Children's Home in Nyeri. So this time we chose to flex our means and make sure that we get to Isiolo.
Now, pressure is mounting for Kenya's education sector to consider changing school leadership tracks in order to contain student strikes. Yata MP Francis Mwangangi says it is high time that students were involved in policy formulation to avoid student unrest. The legislator was speaking during an academic day at Kithimani Secondary School.
Time has come for us as the managers of our institutions, and it not only principals, not only deputy principals, not only the teachers, but even the committees tasked with the management of these institutions. It is good we apply different tactics. The yesterday's tactics, skills, and knowledge might not work today. What am I saying in short? What I'm saying is kindly, let's have an engagement in leadership that is going to involve majority of the people we lead in a decision making, and we will reduce a lot of conflicts within our institutions. We have seen a lot of unrest across the country.
And it is from that bit of international news that we wind up today's edition of Weekend at 1. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Sharon Momanyi. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.